How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Flagrant Talk Sports podcast. It feels good to be able to project my voice a little bit this week. So good to be back, 100%. And we've got the return of the power rankings. We took a little break, week 5, but it is now week 6, and we're back with our power rankings. Per usual, this is not our end of season predictions. This is not our Super Bowl odds favorites. These are right now. What have Isaiah and I seen through these first 6 weeks, 5 weeks, going into week 6? Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, and we're excited to get back to doing this. We'll talk about our top 10. Mo and I don't know each other's, but you guys know how these videos work by now. It's just kind of a brief way to log how we're feeling week by week as the season goes by. For me, and the big thing too, this is based off of this season for us. So like Mo said, the Bengals, they're screwed a little bit. And they wouldn't be near this top 10 anyways, but they're definitely not here because of their record. So just the Bengals as an example. Sorry, Cincy fans who are tuning in.
Yeah.
But let's get this started, Mo. Who is your number 10 for this week?
This was a really tough one for me, especially with us not going through our rankings last week. There was a lot of teams that I felt like were able to fit into this spot, but I ended up settling on your squad, the Green Bay Packers. I have them at 10 with a great win over the Rams this past Sunday, putting them at 3-2 on the year. Xavier McKinney is my big note. Another pick, fumble recovery. Just been an absolute dog since coming over, just like he was in New York. But now he's on a better team, a little bit better coaching. So we're really seeing his skill set that he has at probably the highest level of his career so far. So off to an amazing start. And Jordan Love coming back, looking good. You know, he had a pick, but he also had a touchdown, had a pretty solid game. They ended up winning the game, so the pick didn't hurt. But overall, I think Green Bay earned my top 10 nod this week.
Yeah, and that pick he did throw was a Looney Tunes ass throw. Yeah, it was I was watching it like my jaw dropped. But I'll talk about the Packers here in a little bit, so I'll reserve my opinion. This 10 spot is tough, kind of as you said. There's a lot of like 3-2 teams or teams that are on a bye week that are 2-2, like the Eagles and things like that. But I'm gonna give the edge to a team who played, and I have them at 10. And a lot of this is just wanting to talk about.
I had them at 10. I had them at 10 originally. I cannot lie.
Yeah, and it's, you know, a 20-17 win over Pittsburgh, a weird game, a delayed game that ran. If you're on the East Coast, what a late game for you that rolled into Tuesday, or Monday, excuse me. They won an ugly one. This game was ugly. And the Cowboys played very banged up, obviously, on that defensive front with Lawrence and those pieces that really, you know, if the Cowboys want to go anywhere, are going to need healthy and 100% and active. Sure. Rico gave me some hope, though, in the backfield. 114 yards, a touchdown, and 114 total yards, excuse me. And we've been talking about it a lot. Everyone has talked about it a lot, how this run game is a joke. But if Rico can give them some juice, and I'm not saying, you know, he needs to be a guy who cracks 100 yards every week and, you know, is that, but if he can rattle off a couple big plays, if he can, you know, get a big first down, it opens up that offense so much more. Because Dak has to play Superman football. And Not to say he can't do that, he can do it in doses, but if you wanna get to a Super Bowl, if you wanna win the big game, which Dallas wants to do every year, you can't. You just can't. So,
100%.
he needs help. More Jake Ferguson. It was more of a quiet game from CD, but Jalen Tolbert came in, had some big
Tolbert
catches.
balled.
He
Yep,
was great and banged up late in that fourth quarter and still made the big plays when the Cowboys needed him.
for
That to
sure.
me was the biggest, like, okay, not every win's going to be pretty. Some of these wins are going to be ugly games where it's 6-3 and it's like, wow, where is this going? And then you hit halftime and the Cowboys kind of turned it on. And that to me was the biggest takeaway from that win against a tough no Steelers defense in Pittsburgh. So got the Cowboys here at 10.
For sure, man. I'm again, like I said, I originally had them there,
Hmm.
slid them out of my top 10, but
Yeah.
I completely fine. I wanted to talk about them, so I'm
Yeah.
glad you included them.
Yeah, it this 10th, this, like, lower tier is so hard to do because there's so many teams that are right in that mix, but I figured I kinda just wanted to talk about the Cowboys winning an ugly one more than anything.
For
Um,
sure, for sure.
at 9, Mo, who do you have to follow up your Packers pick?
Speaking of ugly one, 2 horrible losses, but I still have them in my top 10, the Buffalo Bills.
Same team?
Alrighty. I happened to be watching Red Zone at the time of this, and Scott Hansen's reaction for anyone else who was watching
Oh my
was
goodness,
exactly what I was thinking. What in the world are the Bills
dude.
doing? They have the game in control with the ball, and they throw 3 deep balls. They wasted, like, I think maybe 12 seconds, 10 seconds off the play
Yeah.
clock, punt the ball, and the Texans end up kicking a game-winning field goal, and the Bills lose. Just absolute head scratcher there,
Mhm.
but, I still had to include them on the list because of the talent and because of what could have been just with
Yeah.
a couple, different plays and different calls, but, yeah, man, I had to include them because I also needed to talk about what I
Yeah.
witnessed, so
Yeah, I've got the Bills in the same spot as you here at 9, and for a lot of the same reasons. Those first 3 weeks, you could look at our videos, we were talking about how, wow, this could be number 1. Like, they are playing incredible football, and, these past 2 weeks, especially the thumping they took to the Ravens, losing by 25, a bit of a wake up. This one was self-inflicted wounds. Like you
Yep.
said, I mean, Sean McDermott, their head coach, was open about like he made a mistake. He was just it was dumb. It was dumb in the moment. It was dumb after the fact. And I think for me, the scariest thing is Josh Allen. To me, is the second best quarterback in football. It's him, Mahomes, Lamar as that top three. He can't be Superman every single game. He just can't.
Mhm.
And this was a bad game. 9 for
Horrible.
30
Yeah.
uh on completions, 131 yards. Just it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut
Mhm.
it especially against Houston, who I'm sure we both are going to talk about pretty, favorably here in a bit.
Yep.
And it was bad. I'm they're 3-2. We've got them hanging on. But one more loss and they're out of this top 10 for me.
100%.
And that kind of is what it is. At 8, this time I'll get us started here. I've got a
Sweet.
team who can't win a game unless it's significantly close. Has to be a one-score game every week this season. I've got the Atlanta Falcons. Uh, they have been in a one-score game every single week this season, win or loss.
Yep.
And to me, they just can't do anything other than that. They've got to be right there in the mix. They got a nice overtime victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A great game this year as well. Kirk Cousins over 500 passing yards
Mhm.
and just went crazy. I don't love what they do with Bijan still, and, putting 58 passing attempts in there for Kirk Cousins is a lot. Obviously,
Yep.
509 yards, 4 tutties. You live with it, but I don't know. I feel good about this Falcons team. I'm not quite sure. I feel like we both had them to win the NFC South. I'm
Uh-huh.
still kind of leaning that way, even with their inability to pull away from an opponent. It's going to bite them in the ass sometimes, and other times they're going to be the team that gets lucky and escapes. This was one of those weeks at 3-2. I just feel good about Atlanta
Yeah,
winning their division.
for sure. I will save my thoughts on Atlanta as I will
Great.
talk about them here in a second. But I have a team that didn't play this week. I have the Detroit Lions at
Yep.
8. Um, I they dropped a couple spots just because they didn't play, but I felt like I couldn't penalize them too much. I still think
No.
they're top 10 team in the league. And I don't really have too much to cover because
Nope.
they nothing happened.
Nope.
So
Yep. I will talk about them in a bit, and it's going to be the same thing for me.
sweet.
You move down a couple spots strictly because other teams got to win.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
Um, who do you have for your 7 though?
At 7, I have the team who lost to your team who you have at 8. I have Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Nice.
Um, as you touched on, crazy Thursday night football game
Mhm.
in division game, which was fire to watch.
Yeah.
Lost in overtime, but their offense has been insane this season when it's clicking. Baker, Mike Evans, and company has been solid.
Mhm.
Great running back contributions as well from the likes of Bucky Irving and company. So I'm really liking the Bucks team. Tough loss, but they were pretty high on my list, so
Yeah.
I had to just drop them back a couple
Yeah.
spots.
I did not have the Buccaneers on here. They're in this tier though, so nothing negative on my end to say about them. Um, at number 7, this is where I've got my team. It might be a
Yep.
little rich for some people's blood, but like I said, all of these teams here that we have, they're all in the same kind of section. The Packers coming off a nice 5-point win against the Rams, kind of let the Rams get back in it in that fourth quarter, which I did not love from a viewing experience, but they were able to take care of business. Xavier McKinney, I preached it in the offseason going into this year. He just levels this defense up in such a big way. Our safeties last year were disastrous. And to have a guy come in and have a pick his first 5 games of the season, and he almost had 2 this game, is incredible.
Yep.
Just totally elevates the team. I need to see some more from a Rashawn Gary and the pass rush in general. But with Jordan Love getting back in sync, he had a great bomb there to Jayden Reed that really got that Packers offense ready to go and to score.
Yep.
8th in points per game, top 10 in passing yards, 3rd in rushing yards. I love what they have offensively. And if that pass rush can get a little bit better, I trust the secondary enough for the Packers to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender throughout the rest of this season. And they're going to need to keep winning because this NFC North right now is ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
3 and
man.
2, 3 wins or more for every team.
Yep,
And obviously the undefeated Vikings that we'll talk about in a bit.
for sure.
Packers are going to need to keep winning if they want to even be in that wild card race or the race to get the division title. So,
A lot of divisions that we were expecting to be, a little bit more
yeah,
of snooze fests have been
pretty
the
awesome.
best divisions in
Yeah,
the sport. So
yeah,
it's been pretty fun to watch.
without a
But
doubt.
jumping on to 6,
Yeah.
Zay,
Mhm.
I got the Falcons at 6
Nice.
naturally as they beat the Bucks. So I had to have
Mhm.
them above. Like you said, 500 passing yards from Kirk, just 58 attempts is
Oh,
ridiculous,
my
but
lord.
obviously they had overtime. Uh,
Mhm,
Bijan still, like you said, looking for that, Bijan load that we know we can
mhm.
handle and we are expecting. But the contributions from guys like Darnell Mooney, and just their receiving core, they've really shown depth at that
Yeah,
position, aside from Drake London, aside from Kyle Pitts, who had a solid game.
he did.
I need we needed that, so that
Yeah,
was awesome to see. But this defense too, first uh first kind of real. Sorry, wrong note.
oh, okay.
Wrong note. Just got to see some more from the
Yeah.
defense overall.
Mhm.
Um, too many studs to be allowing 30 points, but
Fair, fair.
still got the Falcons on the rise here.
Yeah. I like it. I feel pretty good about this Atlanta team. It would be better if they could pull away some late ones, but, it is what it is. A as long
Hmm.
as you win the close ones, your fan base isn't gonna care how you get it done.
For sure.
For my 6th spot, I've got a team who is finally looking like the team that we all thought they were going to look like. I've got the Baltimore Ravens here coming off of a great win against the Cincinnati Bengals. My game of the year, honestly, at this point. This was vintage Lamar Jackson. He played so well. 26 for 42, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 12 carries for 55 rushing yards. He's ridiculous. And then you add on top of that what Derrick Henry has been really able to provide. He's really gotten it going with this Baltimore team that leads the NFL in rushing yards with 211 a game.
Hmm.
They're just able to punch you in the face.
Yep.
I the only thing offensively, at least, they need some more help vertically. Being able to get explosive plays down the field, getting those 40-yard chunk plays where Lamar is able to make one. Zay Flowers is great, but they need more. The big carry there by Derrick Henry, the 51-yarder that set up for the Justin Tucker field goal. Overall, great win.
Yep.
3-2 on the season. This is how me, you, and most people thought that the Baltimore Ravens were going to play like going into this season. So if they keep playing like this, they're going to move comfortably into that top 5, into that top 3 for me on our power rankings.
I love it. And speaking of top five, I have the Ravens in
Beautiful.
my top five. And this is my defensive note. Sorry for the mix up. I need to see more out of the Ravens defense. They're
Yeah.
ranking in the lower half on most statistics, excluding sacks, which is obviously important, but
Hmm.
we got to clean it up there if we're going to be this Super Bowl contending team. Obviously, losing Mike McDonald, that was one of the big
Yeah.
worries coming into the season because of the defensive maestro that he is. And he has continued that in Seattle. But uh, like you said, overall, unbelievable game from Lamar and
Hmm.
offense. Got a little sloppy there at times on the
Yeah,
snaps,
it
and
did.
he was still able to make a couple plays. They had a couple blunders as well, but
Yeah.
ended up not costing them, and they pulled out with the overtime victory. So got
Hmm.
the Ravens at 5.
Yeah, second in points per game, top 10 in passing yards per game, number 1 in rushing yards, first in touchdowns, first in yards per play.
Yep,
Like you said, that defensive performance, though, especially in the passing game, could use some work.
for sure.
But still, I mean, this is a Super Bowl contender to me, just playing at the level that we thought they were going to.
Yep,
For me at 5, got a boring one. But I've got the Detroit Lions. I still think they're a top 5 team. Didn't play this week. Still in a great position to win the NFC North,
Yep.
which is who both of us had going into this season. Dan Campbell has those guys ready to roll. Just feel good about them, and I think we're about to get a really good test here against the Dallas Cowboys, a team that if they're able to take care of them, go to 4-1, that's a very quality victory on their record, and can set them up really well. So got the
Mhm.
Lions
Mhm.
still in the top 5.
I love it. I love it.
But 4 though, who do you got?
A team that I can't remember if we talked about them last time, but they have earned this spot for me,
Talk,
and it's the Washington Commanders at 4.
talk.
Commanders fans, if you've been here for the last few years, you may know the lore,
Yeah,
and you may know Zay and I haven't been the kindest to you.
we have not.
We speak what we see, but right now, I'm gonna give you guys your flowers. Jayden Daniels is special. We didn't get to talk about it because we didn't do power rankings, but record for completions and completion percentage by a rookie in NFL history in the week 4 game.
Yeah.
Just he has been light years above what a rookie should be at in his progressions, in his
Mhm.
style of play, in his decision making. The Commanders are a legit team in the NFC.
Serious. Yes.
I will be the one to say it. Defense has been balling out as
Mhm.
well. 14 points for the Cardinals this week and 13 last week for the Browns. Just this team, everything is clicking right now, and
Yeah,
maybe we're giving them that Saints treatment that we had a couple weeks ago, where they're now not on our list. But for now,
they
I got to give the
deserve.
Commanders their
Yeah.
spot, man.
Yeah, I will talk about them next. I have a
Yep,
feeling we probably just flip-flopped these
we
2
did.
teams. Makes sense. I've got the Houston Texans here at 4. We're on the receiving end of a lot of luck via the Buffalo Bills, which we said we would talk about.
Yep.
But a win is a win regardless. You're 4-1 on the season, and CJ Stroud somehow looks better than he did in his rookie campaign. It's pretty phenomenal to me because Joe Mixon being out, he elevates this team. We saw it so much, giving them that ground game. And we're seeing Stroud play hero ball. And I constantly keep thinking at some point it's gonna catch up. Like he needs more help in that run game so he doesn't have to do it all himself. But I don't know if he does. The kid is so good.
Special.
So good. And again, able to win ugly, and they let the
Yep.
Bills get back in that game. They had a firm control of it, and the Bills came storming back, set themselves in a great spot to at least go to overtime. Got bailed out, but the Texans marching down the field, taking care of business. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Houston, and they deserve to be in this top 5 as well.
Without a doubt. And as you said, your prediction was correct. We did just flip flop.
Yep. Yep.
First in total passing yards, first in receiving yards. This team is ridiculous. As you said, CJ Stroud somehow not going through that sophomore slump. He
No.
is rising to another level, which is unbelievable to see. The defense has been making plays.
Yep.
As you said, we can win ugly. They're just showing me all those positive checks of a championship roster, and
Totally.
they earned a top 3 nod for me this week.
Love it. I'll talk about my Commanders here, who I've
Yep.
got at 3. Jayden Daniels, like you said, deserves to be in MVP talks. genuinely, as a rookie, and we talked about him in the draft process going into this year, and I said, "Listen, I'm a really big fan. The kid won a Heisman. He balls out. He is a tremendous competitor." And my biggest concern was just his frame, and he's a dude who, for better or worse, will fight for every single yard. He'll take the compact, the big hit. He doesn't care. He's going to lay it all out there for his team to get a
Mhm.
win, and I commend that. And if you're his teammate, you definitely commend that. But I was just worried that he was going to come out here and get hurt, and maybe that becomes a thing. Obviously, I would never wish that on someone, but he is balling,
Yeah.
lights out. And the crazy thing too is even when the passing game this week wasn't as perfect as we've seen him in previous weeks, the dude is able to step in and give you 82 rushing yards. And
Yeah.
so that elevating his floor offensively and what he does is so big. They have the most points per game at 31 of any team in the NFL.
Mhm.
Just dynamic, second in rushing yards behind the Baltimore Ravens. And, this defense isn't perfect, but 15 sacks to start the season. You feel pretty good about them.
Yeah.
Like you said, we have made our fair share of criticism with the Commanders, and at 4-1, maybe they come back down to earth. But at this point, I do not care. They deserve to be here in this top five. They deserve to be in NFC talks as a team that can make the postseason, maybe win a game. Maybe they're this year's Texans
Yeah.
in the NFC.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of similarities,
Mhm.
and an ass whooping of the Cleveland Browns, who need to be demoted to a G League team. Uh, just great. They look very good. They look
Yep.
very good.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, sorry, I had those 2 weeks flip-flopped. I said it was, uh,
oh, got you.
Cardinals, or Browns, Cardinals. It was
Yeah.
Cardinals, Browns,
I
so
mean, they cooked both of
they
them.
cooked both,
So
yeah. That's
it's
all you
not
need
like,
to know.
yeah,
Yep,
that's the important part.
for sure.
Um, yeah. So at two, this top two, Mo. I mean, right?
Unfortunately, yeah, I was trying to
I know.
find a way to
Uh,
slide them above the Chiefs, but logically, non-biasly, that's not even a word, I just made it one.
I love it.
Excuse me. Chiefs are still one. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
as for
I agree.
Vikings at 2, got the dub in London against the Jets.
Mhm.
Put Aaron Rodgers in a little bit of some pain, a little meme there. But Darnold, with probably his worst game of the
Yeah,
season,
not
and
great.
they still pulled it out because this defense for the Vikings, leading the league in interceptions and second in the league in sacks with 20, has just been their heart and soul, and
Mhm.
it's no one expected it. So
Yeah,
speechless. I'm speechless.
literally, man. I've got the Vikings at 2 as well. Brian Flores deserves a head coaching position. He is a mastermind, like, point blank, period. I'm pretty sure I could go line up there at cornerback and we'd be able to make something happen. He's that good.
Mhm.
Um, we're seeing Sam Darnold kind of regress to the mean, kind of regress to the average Darnold because he came out slinging it this season. Um,
MVP talks.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Darnold regressing to the mean isn't necessarily a bad thing. I still think they're good enough to win the North, to make it to an NFC championship. Who knows what comes after that, but
Mhm.
they're definitely deserving of this spot, and I continue to be impressed. At this point, I don't think there's a team in the league that I could pick against them besides the team we have at 1. The Vikings are really clicking that well, and
Uh-huh.
it was an ugly one too. That
Yeah.
win over the Jets was not pretty,
Mhm.
but I think they're more than capable of winning ugly ones because of that defense.
Yep.
Aaron Jones gets banged up, no problem.
Mhm.
And that's a testament to the next man up mentality and the defense being able to anchor you in those close games. So,
Yes, sir.
uh
Speaking of anchoring defense and
there
quarterback play and
just
losing his top option and still throwing for 331 yards, 28 for 39, an interception, but
yeah,
just goes to show who we are messing with here. A legitimate greatest football player that anyone has ever seen, and it's week in, it's week out. Doesn't matter who he's lining up with, who's blocking for him.
who's catching the damn ball.
I mean, like, yeah, we could that no, that's we could probably line up out there and Andy Reid will
Yeah.
scheme something for my slow ass to get
Yep.
like 3-4 yards on first
Yep.
down or something. Like,
Dude, I mean, and Juju Smith, welcome back to
don't even
Kansas
get me
City.
started. Don't even get me
Oh,
started, man.
I'm sorry. Mo is a Patriots fan.
We released this guy. This is someone we released from our team because we didn't think he could play wide receiver for the New England Patriots because our receiving room is so deep, so stacked. That was a touchdown, Jalen Polk, by the way. Anyway.
Dude, that is so ridiculous. That is serious. That is seriously stupid.
Back to the Chiefs. Juju Smith. Yeah, welcome back to KC. Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, 117 rushing yards and a tutty for Kareem. Welcome back, Juju Smith. 7 catches, 130 yards. Like, are we kidding? No, like, dude.
Like, it is just it's comical, bro, that these guys are putting up these stats
It's
in the
stupid.
2024, and it's because of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. It's just like it's
Bro. And then you get Travis Kelce, who is now picking it up. 9 catches, 70 yards. It's like, dude, they're on cruise control. It they're on cruise control and can knock out pretty much any team, any night, any home. It doesn't matter. Like, what we talked about it, but it hits a point where it's like, bro, I can't bet against you. I can't. You
like
have to give me a reason to.
just looking at their schedule, man. They might not lose.
Yeah, you got the
I'm starting to
Niners
get to
here.
that point. Yeah. Like
Eh,
the Niners, that's going to be a great game in
mhm.
San Fran.
But God, man, the way the Niners played, letting Arizona come back and win it, I, I like. Can I pick against them? I'm picking them over the Raiders. Tampa's a tough one, but they're at home, so I'm giving
Monday
them the
night.
win. Yeah, Monday night, Broncos. Broncos are good. They were a team that's in contention for as kind of vanilla as their offense is. They're
Yeah.
still quality, a great one against the Bills. Then you
Yeah.
followed up with the Panthers and Raiders. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously they have some tough games. Pittsburgh, Houston, the Chargers. We'll see what they are, but it's almost unfair, man.
It's exactly as you said, they're on cruise control and they're 5-0 somehow.
Yeah. It's really that, so
Like, like, literally like, not even the stats, like, they're 7th in passing, 8th in
yeah.
receiving,
I
19th in first downs, 14th in rushing, on defense, 26th in sacks, 23rd in interceptions, 25th in like, the stats aren't even there for them,
No. No, no, no.
and they're still winning games. Like, it unless you watch, you would be like, "These guys don't know ball."
D
But
yeah, like, on paper, if you covered the team and read statistics, you wouldn't say this is number 1, but they're number 1 at, like, until proven otherwise, and I don't even they're not even a
it's gonna
team
get
I
annoying. It's
it
gonna get annoying, I'm
it
sure of it, but, like, I don't know what you guys want from us.
no, if you wanna have Minnesota over them, awesome. They're
Respect.
really they're the team you could make the argument for, and I
Yeah.
would be like, "Okay." But even then, I just feel like people want to dethrone the Chiefs at 1 more so than a team actually being 1.
Man, I wish they played. That'd be sick.
Yeah. We might have to intervene. We might have to get involved.
A little schedule change,
Yeah. The game
little
against the
trade
Panthers
games.
is now a game against the Vikings.
Yep, let's trade.
So, enjoy.
Yep.
Um, yeah, this is our top 10. Let us know
Mhm.
yours. Who have you got? Who are you excited to see? Are there some teams you're disappointed in? Are you buying the Jayden Daniels MVP hype? Is it real for you? Where is Stroud at in your quarterback rankings? All of that fun stuff. Leave it in the comments.
Let us know.
Let us know. Thank you for tuning in. But before we go, one last thing. As always, song of the pod, Mo. Take it away.
So, I got it's a little remake off the original from the Isley Brothers, but Seals and Crofts, 1972, Summer Breeze.
Makes me feel fine.
Beautiful song, beautiful instrumentals.
Mhm.
Just as summer is slowly creeping away and the weather is getting
Man,
colder, I'm holding on to this song. So
I
if you
love it.
haven't heard it, give it a listen.
I love it. Classic. As for me, I have Diving Board by Red Veil. Red Veil is an artist I love in that kind of Earl Sweatshirt type vein. The hook is so good. The kid is so talented. He's younger than me, and it makes me question myself as a human. And I feel like disappointment sometimes listening to him. Like, wow, that's really happy for you, bro.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
Mufasa meme because I'm whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, great song. I'm doing a really good job selling it. But Diving Board, Red Veil, great artist, great music, great song.
Yep.
And that's the vid. Get out of here. Thank you
That's
for
what we
tuning
got.
in.
Thank y'all. Enjoy the week.
Enjoy the week. Power forwards video for you on Friday. Top 10
Yeah.
rankings. NBA season right around the corner. Preseason is here.
And our
Our
toughest ranking yet. Our toughest
this
ranking yet.
dude, that video is going to be crazy. So if you're a ball fan, get excited. I
Stay
feel
tuned.
like it's going to be very controversial. So
Yep.
can't
We're,
wait
we're, we're not going to make everyone happy. So.
at all. We clearly haven't so far. So we'll we'll keep that alive.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll catch you all in the next video. Thank you for tuning in.
Love y'all.
Love y'all. Please. Damn. Oh, okay. Now peace.
Peace.